Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the jobs report, why it is important, guys, and what really the impact is for you. Overall, guys, the jobs report, payroll rose 311,000 new jobs, which is significantly more than they were kind of expecting. Really shows solid growth in the economy. Even though we know interest rates are rising, we know a recession could be on the rise. Depending on Fed's funds, they could raise the interest rates that are going forward. Unemployment rose to 3.6%, which above the expectations. So the bigger picture, guys, what they're looking to do here, and the way that I understand it, is they want to raise unemployment, essentially not having as many people working. No, wait a minute. Again, I'm going to say that again. The government wants less people working. They want the unemployment rate much higher, because if people are unemployed or collecting unemployment, it removes their ability to discretionary spend, which means that the demand for products and services will go down, which means the consumer price index will go down, which means even though it's bad for individuals being out of a job, looking for other jobs, we've seen literally companies across the board, from the big three here locally, from Google to pretty much every company that you've looked at in the United States, have done some sort of staff reduction, whether it was 10,000 jobs or 3% or 5% or whatever it may be, guys. There continues to be a push towards this unemployment. Now, this could happen, naturally through automation, through technology, things of that nature. But it is literally at this point the government trying to raise the unemployment rate, and they're doing it through the cost that businesses pay by raising this Fed's fund rate. Now, also the big thing to note with this, guys, is the average hourly earnings climbed 4.6%. That is right, guys. So if you think about the raise that you got in 2023, if it was not above 4.6% raise or 4.6% increase, you got a raise that was lower than the average hourly expense or the average hourly earnings for the entire nation. Now, they take a lot of things into an account when they look at this, but 4.6 was the raise on average. Most of the jobs that we've seen increase were leisurely, hospitality, retail, and government led from the sector, which is funny because, of course, the government is kind of the one in control of this, and is still one of the biggest sections that had the job growth. Now, because of this, you've seen some negative publicity and some things going on in the stock market, including SVB, the big bank within California, did collapse. They tried to get bailed out. They looked for additional funding, couldn't do it. So unfortunately, they are gone. It was seized by the FDIC, I believe, yesterday morning. But monthly job creations, again, 311K, which is good for February, considering January was incredibly high, guys. The January report came back at 504. So when you look again, thinking big picture, what the federal government is doing to fight inflation, as much as we don't want to see it or don't want to think about it, it is working in the methodology that they do want this to be working. Like I said, the unemployment rate rose to 3.6%, above the expected 3.4%, even though, again, the participation rate in the job market was a little bit higher. Now, earnings, again, like I had said, year over year, 4.6% is what it was. They thought it would be around 4.85%, so a little bit lower than what they thought the expected additional earnings are. But that just means that companies are paying 4.6% more to all their employees, if that is the actual, again, where you got your raise or what they landed on. Now, stock market, of course, they're really pushing towards higher rates. Now, Powell has said that rates are going to increase. They might have to raise them for a little bit more time. We're not really through it yet to see if, hey, it's going to be a recession, if it's going to be a major recession, if we're going to see things crash. But if you've been to the grocery store, if you've looked to purchase anything, the 30-year fixed mortgage rates are significantly higher. Auto loan rates continue to climb. But the caveat to that, or the offset of that, is if you are a saver, if you look at CD rates, if you look at savings rates, they are getting pretty crazy. Even when you look at treasury yields, some of them were well over 5%, I believe, at this point. I know the 6-month treasury went over 5% for a little bit. So you're getting a really big refund on your money. And again, this is all driven by the prime rate. Now, the impact to the actual consumer is where I wanted to talk about, because it is very, very tough right now if you have anything that is variable debt, guys. If you're not budgeting, if you do have the variable debt, so if you have credit cards, if you have home equity products that are variable, if you have mortgage rates that are variable, you're going to see that your rates and your payments will continue to climb. And as of right now, they are continuing to climb in the future. Now the Fed interest rate tracker is kind of saying the next increase might be at 0.5% just because of how Powell was talking. So again, that is something we're going to have to see. If they raise it 50 basis points for the March meeting, again, the market is going to negatively be impacted. But as we fight inflation, as we try to get things cheaper, it is really what they have to do. Overall, guys, as it continues, again, the inflation data is starting to slow down. The cost of items are starting to slow down. We're seeing it across the market. Again, we're seeing it in a lot of the retail spaces. If they come in and they do a 0.25%, so a 25 basis points increase to the Fed's fund rate, would take it to where they were kind of targeting. Now, a lot of economists are actually saying that they're targeting a much higher rate than the 5% that they were originally kind of forecasting, that they're looking at 5.5 or 6% in total for the Fed's fund rate. So when you look again at cars, when you look at 30-year mortgages, things of that nature, you're talking 6.5, 7% for a new auto loan, which again is kind of crazy considering the Fed kept rates so incredibly low during COVID. We were actually offering at my institution a 1.79 or 1.74, 1.79, right around there for an auto loan rate. Now we're looking at the auto loan rates. It is almost 3 to 4 times what the rate was just about a year and a half ago, which again is kind of crazy. So as we continue to follow the inflation, I'm really making sure that we get this under control, guys. I'm trying to keep you informed on the channel. Budget your money, save money. Now is the time to sit on some cash. I'll repeat that. Now is the time to really be sitting on some cash, but keeping it into, again, CDs, shorter term CDs, liquid and savings accounts, things of that nature, just because there is a lot of uncertainty in the market. It's not a time to run and rush and panic and sell everything, but it is a time to really pay attention at what is going on and sitting on a little bit more money just in case, God forbid, you lose your job, something of that nature, or you need expense, or if you have any unexpected expenses. It's going to be very expensive to borrow money at this point, guys. All right, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.